Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Aurum podcast in this new year 2022. Happy New Year, and we are so glad to be back. I'm your host, Anthony Kuria, and this is the Aurum podcast that is hosted by Aurum Consultants. And here we discuss all issues that relate to the workplace in regards especially to human resource management. Now, with me are my usual HR experts, the usual HR experts. When you begin the year, you go back to default settings and you want to know what has been happening. You want to be sure, to be concise and sure that whatever is discussed has the experts right there giving their wisdom, their sage wisdom. So with me is my co-director at Aurum Consultants and our in-house HR consultant, Zipporah Kuria. Welcome, Zippy.
Thank you. Good morning and Happy New Year, our viewers. Looking forward to what we are going to discuss today.
Awesome. And also our, how do I call you, Martha? Our consultant. Consultants also need to consult. So our external consultant, our sounding board, our very good friend, Martha Thuku, a HR specialist. Martha, karibu sana.
Asante, good morning, viewers, and we wish you a successful 2022.
Thank you. Thank you. Martha is also um, a HR manager at LVCT group here in Kenya. She's the group HR there, and even as we continue, she'll tell us more. She'll give us a brief about LVCT and how they are contributing to the mental health of Kenyans at this hour. Now, today, in this month of January, every year when we begin with a theme. I'm sure in the workplace, people begin with a theme about, this is what we're doing in this year. This is the year of this is the year of that. Even as a nation, we begin with a certain theme. This year, I believe, unofficially, in Kenya, the theme is about the elections that we're going to have later in the year. But even as you begin the year, there is also the monthly, you're thinking, okay, what do I want to achieve this month? What is it that we want to achieve as individuals, as corporates, as businesses? And here at our podcast this month, we want to discuss issues regarding performance management. Okay? Performance management and specifically setting goals, or what you'd like to call it, goal setting. And ladies, as you know, goal setting is something by default. If you're a professional, if you wake up everybody, I normally describe a professional as anybody who wakes up to do something, something, uh, something certain. For example, a shoe cobbler is a professional because people bring him or her their shoes because they can't repair them themselves. So that shoe cobbler is a professional. Even a house girl or a house manager is a professional because somebody needs their services, they hire them and tell them, okay, I need you to be cleaning my house, ABCD. So I normally say every professional, every person who wakes up to do something has to have a goal in mind. They have to set a goal. What do you want to achieve today? What do you want to achieve this week? What do you want to achieve this month? What do you want to achieve this quarter? What do you want to achieve this half year? What do you want to achieve in this year? What do you want to achieve the next 2 years, 5 years? So for performance management is something that we cannot escape from. And here, specifically from a HR perspective, it is dependent on SMART goals. You remember the SMART. I'm sure all of you, our viewers, you have heard about the acronym SMART. Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and all that. So performance management is dependent on that particular acronym, the goals that come with it. And by setting goals and priorities at the outset on each performance cycle, you will create an environment that will motivate employees to achieve success. So that's what I want us to discuss today. And Zippy, tell me, you, our in-house specialist, tell us what is the importance of goal setting in performance management?
Thank you, Anthony. Let me first start by saying I think this is an important discussion that we need to have and demystify, because a lot of times when we talk about performance management, goal setting, we look at it from a very big perspective, and sometimes we freak out because we're thinking this thing is making our life very difficult. But I don't think performance management should be something that is so difficult to manage if we get to that place of taking it as the usual way of doing things. When you talk about goals, I always go back to a vision. And if I refer to the good book, the Word of God, it does tell us where there's no where there's no vision, people perish. And you can't set goals when you don't have a clear vision. And now, when you have a clear vision, you need something to help you get to achieving that vision. And you must have some goals that would help you achieve the same. And in any organization, because we are talking to business people, we are talking to employees. In an organization, for you to be able to achieve your vision, you need to have goals. You need to work towards achieving your vision through the goals you will set every day, every year. And a lot of times, I see when the year begins, we begin by wanting to set our goals. And it's always important for us also to review the goals we set before. Have we been able to achieve? Even as we set new goals and new milestones of where we want to go, have we been able to achieve our previous goals? And if we did not, where did we fail? What went wrong? What can we do to make sure we set goals that we are able to achieve? And it's important for us to know setting measurable and attainable goals, like you said earlier, is very critical, is very important for us to be able to achieve the same. Because if we set goals that are unrealistic, then we don't achieve what we want to achieve, and it always becomes very difficult. Now, going back to your question about importance of setting goals, one of the things I think it's important because it helps employees align themselves to the objectives of the business. When they set the goals, they are working towards achieving something. Now, what they are trying to work towards achieving has to be aligned with what the business wants to achieve at the end of the day. You have 100 employees. How is every employee going to be able to work towards achieving the business objective? They have to have smaller goals that they have to work together towards, achieving a bigger picture. So it's important for us to know it helps align. The other thing is it establishes guidelines and a criteria for us to be able to do performance reviews. Unfortunately, a lot of times we want to take performance reviews from a vacuum. We have not set goals, we have not set any guidelines, and we wake up one day and we say we are going to do performance reviews. How are we reviewing the performance? What are we using? What criteria are we using? And we need to be very objective if we are going to achieve anything towards performance management, where we have set clear goals. The employee is very clear of the expectation. They are very clear about their KPIs. They are very clear about the key result areas. And it becomes very easy for them to be able to work towards that because they know what is expected of them. When they don't know what is expected of them, then what happens? We will do whatever we need to do to get the work moving. We will do whatever we need to do to get the project moving. But are we working towards achieving a certain goal that I know if you look back, I'll be able to say, this is what I did, this is what I was able to achieve, this is where the challenges were, and this is how we can improve even in the process as we go along. And the other thing that I think is very critical and very important when we are doing goal setting, I think it also helps when it comes to employee engagement. When we have communicated clearly what the expectations are and the employees get involved, then they become more engaged and more connected to the organization and what is happening within the organization. So I think there are so many things that I can talk about this morning about the importance of setting goals, because at the end of the day, it makes us who we are in wholesome. The totality of who we are in, our achieving our career goals based on what we do on a daily basis. And I think that would be my input this morning.
All right, all right. Now, before Martha, you speak, I would like to tell our audience you're welcome to send your questions and comments live. We are able to see them here live. So if you're out there and you want to, you've heard something you're saying and you'd like to comment on it, you'd like to throw in a question, you'd like to get a clarification, kindly send it. We are live on Facebook. Kindly send those questions immediately, and we will be able to sample them live as we discuss, and we will be able to tackle them if we can. So that's something our audience kindly honor us by sending us your comments and views and questions that you may have as we continue. Martha, what's your view? You are in the real time, real world HR management, where I'm sure these kind of things. We are not talking theory and what is discussed in university corridors. In the real world, how does in performance management? How does setting goals help employees and institutions?
Okay, thanks, Anthony. And before I go on, I want to thank, there's a team of HR experts who also support us, and
Mm,
we welcome your comments because we don't have everything. So we
mm,
welcome your comments and thank you always for supporting us. Now, this issue of goal setting, first, I want to unpack what this thing is, and we can
mm,
say it's part of the performance management uh,
mm,
process. And in that process of performance management, there is goal setting. And where does
mm,
it come from? It comes from the fact that there are some strategic goals for the organization. So
mm,
for the business owners who are watching us, you can't have goals when you don't have a strategy. Like Zippy said,
mm,
you must have something you're working towards.
mhm,
And it's because of that thing you're working towards, then you are able to break it into pieces, small pieces, achievable pieces. So what we can
mhm.
say is this performance management animal is actually not an animal. It's just an open way
Yes.
of just being very open in
Mm,
in your dealing so that you are able to achieve what you want to do. And an
mhm,
organization that has this enabling environment is always having clear guidance on what they want to do. They are able to tell all the staff that this is our strategy for this year.
mhm,
And out
mhm,
of that strategy, each department is able to pick what is their part in fulfillment of this goal, of this strategy. And because of that, it breaks it down even to individual level. And that's where goal
mhm,
setting comes in. So this goal setting thing just gives you helps you prioritize on what you need to do. If you
mhm,
don't set goal, I remember many years when we started working and you don't have this goal setting, you would go to the office, you go home, you are tired. But really, if you go back, you can't even nail what you
what you
did.
did. Yeah.
Yeah. And then ZP will agree with me. In HR department, there are so many things that can sidetrack you.
Mm,
Like I normally have a list of the things I need to accomplish the day. But before I get out of my door, a phone call comes that can change everything because
mm,
I need to attend that person.
mhm,
So
mhm,
if I don't have clarity on what I need to measure myself with at the end of the day, then I'll just be involved in this busy, busy, busy. Every day I'm busy and I'm tired. And come the end of the year, I'm asked what I achieved and have nothing. So,
mm,
what is goal setting? It's,
mhm,
I mean, the importance of goal setting is to ensure that you are able to account for yourself, and it will help you even be clear and be focused on what you want to do. It also
mm,
has an inclination for timeline, so you just don't work like the Tommy talked about something called smart specific. One of
mhm,
the T in that smart is timeliness, meaning what
mhm,
you want to achieve has a timeline. So it's not endless, it's not infinite. You need to
mhm,
achieve this so that you go to the next place, to the next level, to the next level. So The importance is that it helps you in that give you direction and focus. It also gives clarity on what you're doing. It has an inclination of timeliness, and there's a purpose. When an employee is leaving the home in the morning, they have a clear direction. I'm going to the office to do A, B, C, D. They are not just going to appear there and the boss is saying, do A, do B, like what are they called? Like a subject and a king. There are some kings and subjects. The subject appears and they are just told, run here, or take my clothes to the dry clean. Some things that are not even in your JD. So
Crazy,
if we don't have goals, we'll find ourselves, even as manager, doing that, just throwing
yeah.
small things for the people who report to us to do, because they don't have a purpose. They're just waiting on us to tell them what to do. That should never happen. We need to set goals. Each person must have a reason why they wake up in the morning, and and you can plan yourself. So I didn't finish this today, so tomorrow I'll start here. I will not wait for my manager to tell me where to start. It's because I have my own goals that I'm achieving towards the bigger picture, which are the strategic goals. Zippy called it the bigger picture. Those are the strategic plans of the organization. So what is my input in that strategic plan? And how have I broken it down into achievables, so that if Tony, you have achieved, Zippy, you have achieved, I have achieved, the bigger picture will be achieved and we will
Sure.
all be happy. That's what I can talk about goals. Thank you.
Wow. Martha, thank you very much. As you were talking, I was just writing down some few gems that were released by both you and Zippy. And I like the fact, and this one I'm going to say this to managers and entrepreneurs out there. Something Martha and Zippy have said, that goals cannot be set without strategy. That you cannot have people setting out goals, expecting your staff, your employees, to set out goals when you, as the manager, as the MD, as the founder, CEO, MD, if you have not set for them the strategy. So they need to understand this is where the company is going. This is specifically what we are aiming to attain in 2022. So that now when you start requiring performance management, there is a big picture that is being seen. We want to achieve market share of this amount. We want to break ground into a new markets of a different kind, or we want to introduce a new product of this, into this particular market, or we want to go into a different geographical entity. We want to spread, say, to another county or to another country. We've got to have a strategy that informs performance management. And Martha, there's something else that you've said there that, man, that really I thought this was deep. That performance management is basically aligning staff towards achievement of company strategy. Well, I think that one in the MBA classes, somebody will be. If somebody is listening, if you're doing an MBA, Maze, please jot that one down. The performance management is basically aligning staff towards achievement of company strategy. Martha, Apple, you should get an award, Maze. That's serious. That's deep, because at the end of the day, some people out there wonder what is why do people talk about performance management, HR? We hear this jargon, performance management. You've got to achieve it. We are going to list how you do it. So if you are an employee out there and you keep wondering, you hear these stories about performance management, and you're wondering, how are they managing me? See, I can manage myself. Today you've had a definition that performance management is basically aligning you as staff, from the MD to the person on the floor, aligning all of us towards achievement of that company's strategy. That's all there is. So even setting goals for performance management is basically building blocks that go to build the big house. Okay? And I also like something, Martha, that you've said there, that goal setting is basically being accountable to yourself. That's deep. Huh? Being accountable, that everyone who walks into a workplace, you've been hired, whether you are the soldier at the gate, the security man at the gate, whether you are, you've been hired as an intern, or you are a clerk, or you are a supervisor, or whatever position you are in, you setting your goals is being accountable to yourself. That you're waking up, okay, today I'm waking up, and okay, I'm the office admin. So what are my goals today? My goals are 1, 2, 3, 4. Today, if people walk into this office, by the time they say they want to see the manager, 3 minutes, within a maximum of 3 minutes, maximum of 3 minutes, they have seen whoever they wanted to see. If phone calls come in, I'm able to pick them within the third ring. You're setting yourself goals as you go. If you're the accountant and you have payroll to sort out, I need to have, if pay day is supposed to be 30th, by 28th, everything should be ready. Ni kutuma tu pesa kwa accounts za watu. Setting your goals. So if you have that attitude, you're waking up every morning, you have goals, whoever you are, whatever you're doing, you have your goals. If you're a departmental head, do you have goals for your department, for your staff? Do you look at them on a daily basis, how you're going to achieve on a monthly or quarterly basis? So this goal setting agenda goes for everyone, as long as you wake up to go to a workplace. Hata ikuwa wewe you are a farmer, you've got to have goals for your. Okay, most farmers, let's be honest, most farmers tend to have goals. They know sasa ni kiangazi, we need to be weeding, we need to tunahitaji kupalilia, we need to think about fertilizer, we need to think about by end of January. So all of us, as long as you're working, even a student has a goal, whether it's standard 2, wakifika shule, they have been given work to do, and if they are diligent, they know they need to finish it. So goals, we can say they are very important for anybody who is waking up to do an activity. But now the question that I want to bring to us.
Anthony, before you move on, I think I have a comment on the goal alignment. Mother talked about aligning your team members. Yes. And sometimes when we talk about alignment, I think as employers, sometimes we get lost. How are we setting these goals? What are we basing it on? And one of the things that I've realized is also very powerful is to also regularly look at the job descriptions you have given to your team members and see whether your team members are aligned. You've talked about building blocks. And, when you're working towards achieving a common goal, is like, you have all these big puzzle, and every team member is part of that puzzle. And that puzzle, for them to be able to get to where, they need to achieve the goal, they need to fit in. So how are they going to fit in? And one of the things I think we need to be very clear is the job descriptions we give to these team members, and how they'll be able to set their goals also based on that to fit into, the objective that we are setting.
Okay. So
yes, and also ZP, to add to that, it's very important to note, for that to happen, then you must remember performance management is an ongoing process.
Yeah.
Because you have the overall strategy, and then now you have broken it down for people to align to that strategy. And maybe some of those goals you have set with your manager, at some point, it becomes obsolete, or it's not working. So you see, the ongoing communication process helps change goals within the process, because then it's live. It's not static. This goals thing is live. You can find, you put, even in your own personal life, ZP, you put a goal, and COVID came. So you see, we can't have static goals. They must be live. They can change. And so that's why ongoing communication and ongoing review of those goals is so important for the success of the goals and the strategy of the organization. Thank you.
Wow. Ladies, those are deep thoughts. Issues to do with job descriptions. That is the basis that gives the guardrails to what your goals will be. So you cannot be an accountant and you start setting goals about the way the company should market itself. You're an accountant, you've been given a job description, but you think, Mazi, I have ideas that I can give to the marketing guys. And you're setting your time, telling them, hey, do this, do that, dude. Why don't you just apply to be a marketing executive and leave accountancy to somebody else? Okay. So job descriptions really provide the guardrails by which we work, and also the way Martha you put it, that goals should not be static. That because I was told this month, this quarter, I need to achieve A, I need to achieve 100 units or 1,000 units. COVID happens, and you're thinking, okay, can we discuss how we can adjust things?
Okay.
So yes, Martha.
Okay.
Martha, you're with
Are
us?
you
There's
back?
something wrong with that? Yes. Oh, sorry. I looks like my connection had been lost a bit. I presume I'm live now. Uh, yeah. So, Martha, I appreciate what you and Zippy are saying about job descriptions and about goals being live moving forward. Now, the next question then comes is the thing that comes to my mind is then how do we set these goals? Zippy, probably you could guide us. How do we set these goals uh, from a performance management perspective?
So as I respond to you, Anthony, I think one of the questions we need to ask ourselves is who should set the goals?
Okay,
Who is responsible for setting goals?
good question.
Because I've seen situations where, unfortunately, I think it's also from a lack of understanding this whole performance management and who should do what, where the HR is asked to set goals for staff members. And HR can sit there and set goals for everyone, but will they be able to achieve the objective? So I think that's a question that I'm throwing back to the audience and to anyone listening to us this morning. Who is responsible to really set these goals? One of the things we must be clear is as a manager, I should be involved in also helping my team members set their goals. So I'm having expectations and I need to guide them. I need to be there to help them. So how do we set the goals? Number one, I think it's important to review the company objectives. Like Mother has said, sometimes we set goals, we set objectives, but they become obsolete. Something happens and you're never going to achieve that objective, or you have achieved and you have surpassed it and you need to change as an
Mhm.
organization. So first, as an organization from the top, we need to review our objectives so that it's very clear. And that's why I think you see organizations going for strategic planning meetings at the beginning of every year or at the end of every year. And the reason is to review and to set a new pace of what needs to happen. So once that happens, it's important also for us to invite the other key stakeholders to get involved in setting their goals. The managers, the employees, we need to invite them to participate in the process of setting the goals. So again, you can see I'm answering the questions I threw out there. Who is responsible for setting
Mm,
these goals? So we invite
good.
everyone to be part of what we are doing so that we set our goals and so that everyone owns the process. Because if there's no ownership, the truth is we will not be able to achieve. So how do we get ownership? How do we get buy-in from everyone? Is to making sure everyone gets involved. It's important when we have set goals also to discuss with the employees, what does it mean? I have set these goals. How do I achieve these goals? Who is involved? What activities need to go into planning and making sure I achieve the goals I have set? So make sure all those things are discussed and it's very clear. Like Mother has said, performance management is a live thing. It's not static. It's not something you set goals and you come back at the end of the year to review. It's something you constantly need to look back and see, how am I doing? Am I on track? Do I need to review some goals? Have I achieved and do I need to set, new goals? I always see this when we are doing performance reviews, or maybe an employee is not performing and it catches by surprise. And I keep on wondering, why is it catching us by surprise? Yet probably this employee has not been performing for a while. And a lot of times it's because we are not constantly checking what is happening or reviewing our goals to see what is happening. So I think that's another whole discussion for another day. But it's important for us to review regularly. The other thing is, and you alluded to this, and I think also Mother alluded to this. How do we set goals? We have to make sure we are setting SMART goals as well. And of course, that's an acronym of many things, and I will allow Mother also to put an input into that. But our goals must be SMART. Our goals must be measurable. They must be achievable, and all that. If we don't use that, then, and I've seen this a lot when we are setting goals. You put in a sentence, and when you look at the sentence, sometimes it doesn't even make so much sense in what you're trying to do. So you have said, I want to achieve this, and you don't put a timeline, you don't put what you're looking at achieving, you don't look at is it realistic. So you just put a sentence there that someone looking at it critically might not make a lot of sense. So again, coming back to the issue of SMART goals. Of course, the other thing, and I think I've just mentioned this, is tracking the goals and regularly making sure you're updating the same. Periodically look at it. See, am I on track? Do I need to change something? Do I need some help? Who is involved in helping me make sure I achieve my goals? So again, reviewing regularly helps you make sure you're staying on track. So I would say in terms of setting goals, those are just a few things you need to look at so that again it guides you in a good way of achieving what you want to achieve.
Okay, those are very deep points. Martha, Zippy has talked about when we are setting goals, the question would be who is setting? Yeah, who is it that is setting? Is it you as the employee? Is it the boss? Then the question would be and this is something Zippy and I face a lot, where people are thinking HR set goals for the company. So you're left wondering, okay, this company has different divisions, different departments. So how does HR set goals for marketing, or for accounts, or for production? It doesn't work because the people in production who know what they need to achieve. And then now, I like the fact that you've brought in the issues of the company needs to set its own objectives, and then it's cascaded down to managers and staff setting their goals according to the strategy and framework of the company, and then now discussing with staff on their own goals, and then reviewing regularly these goals and performance in the course of the year. From your perspective, Martha, how would you look at it?
Okay, yeah. Okay, who should set goals? um, the people like us who are ancient, Tony, from wherever we came from, even in the bank, we just used to be given,
Yes.
and this is what is expected of you.
Full stop.
And I don't think even you are given performance standards. If you don't do, it's a problem. And so it's in that arena that this performance management thing came. And what amazes me, and you have used the word cascade. So when the team up there come and roll out the strategic plan for the year, and every manager takes their beat. So when, as a manager, I get to my office, and it's important that each and every person in my office own what they are going to need to do. Because if I set goals for them, it means it's not their plan. You get, they did not own those goals. But CP, if I come to you and I ask you, out of this plate, what is your take? What are you going to achieve to help us finish this? Zippy, the minute you write down what you want to do, I will not even follow you up because it's your thing. You understand? So it's to make the performance management goal setting plan is really to make everyone own what they are going to achieve for the organization for that year. And when it's really in my spirit that I need to do this, even at times you are in bed and you have not achieved, you wake up sweating. Oh, I have not done this, because you're not being reminded by anyone. It is you who is reminding yourself. So who should set goals? In my opinion, please let me set my own goals because then I own them and I'll be accountable to them, and I can put them down. So as we speak about goal setting and how do we set goals, the most important thing is first to sit and carefully think through things, considering what you want to achieve for that year. The most important thing, the other important thing is to ensure that whatever it is that you are thinking through is in line with what the organization is about. So those are really two important aspects. Once you think through, then now you start breaking down. You break them down into small bits, and that's what we are calling SMART goals. And make sure they are smart. They are specific. They are
Measurable.
measurable. They are attainable.
Yes.
Let
Yeah,
me tell
realistic.
you, if you set something that is not realistic, you will really be frustrated.
That's true.
If you set something that cannot be attainable, you will resign from that job.
Yeah,
And you see,
yeah,
you are the one who committed yourself.
yeah.
And then they need a timeline. So
True.
when I look at goals, like I work in the NGO, the goals for the program, guys, they are so easy. Hmm? I work in the HIV field. So one of the goals is how many people to test for HIV for a certain period. So the goal there is ensure that is to test so many people. You know, by this, you know, they have quarterly feedback. So you even have the timeline. Now come to the goals of the operations department. It's very crazy. I can say, and I can own up and say, even now, I really get kind of, let me use that, kuchanganyikiwa on how to make my goals smart. You know,
Okay.
because some of these day-to-day things really, they look like they can't be made smart. Can you imagine there is no goal that can't be smart? The most important thing is to know how to do it. You will work towards achieving that time limit. And I can tell you, if you have smart goals that are time bound, you will find you have achieved the strategy that you wanted to do. Because then you are working in bits. You have finished bit A, you have finished B, you go to bit B, you go to bit. So you're not mixed up. You are focused, you have direction, you have clarity of purpose. So at the end of the day, once you ensure your goals are smart, you just find yourself achieving, and you find you even want a higher role now. Easy. I've done this. I'm finished. I'm done. And it's very easy for that process to help even the organization to know who to promote, because even the way you are thinking, even when you are setting your goals, your thinking process is also being seen, and
Yes.
people can notice that, oh, this guy is Tony is ready for next level. So
Wow.
you can see it has a lot in it. It may
Yes.
look like something small, but really it is a driver for the organization to achieve its objectives. That's what I can say. That's my view on setting goals. Thank you.
Wow. Wow.
I
Wow.
think I can add on to something, Tony, before you pick this up. I think the other thing I would like to also encourage our viewers, our employees, our employers, and it is something I also, do. Because if we don't do this, we won't be able to really achieve our goals. When we set those goals, I think it's also important for us, for each goal, define the activities that need to happen for you to be able to achieve the goal. Very clear of what activities need to go towards this particular goal. Who is involved? Do I need to bring in other team members? Do I need support from other departments for me to be able to achieve these activities? So I think once you define those activities, then it becomes very easier, because those become your checkpoints for you to see whether you're achieving your goal. But if you just leave it as a goal, the truth is you will look at it 3 months down the line and you will not have moved much. But when you have defined the activities that you need to actually carry out, then it becomes a little bit much easier.
Okay. Wow. Ladies, today you have unleashed serious gems, and we're just beginning the year. Imagine what the rest of the year has for us, to our viewers. I mean, these ladies have unleashed some serious gems that if you have goals, Then you have to define the activities that lead to the goal. That, for example, and Zippy, that's something I remember when I started selling it, when I began selling insurance years back. Not so long ago, about 20 years ago. I remember I was told, okay, your target, we need you to produce, say, X amount of life policies. But nobody told me how to achieve that. What is the activity? Yes, I was told, you need to do cold calls, you need to do marketing, you need to do this, you need to do that. Initially, I was wondering now. The first company I went for, you are just given targets. You go do your thing. So fortunately or unfortunately, I quickly moved to somewhere else, where now the whole process was a bit more neatly designed, where you come in, you want to be told you're trained on how to do marketing, then you're given a target, and then you're told this is how to attempt to do it. And they would go even as far as putting you with a seasoned marketer, seasoned salesperson to go and see how they do it. So it's very important to give the activities of how you will achieve your goal. Martha, there's something that you've said there as we come to a close, that there is no goal that cannot be smart. Wow, that is deep. Again, from my career, I worked with a bank, one of these big banks. I won't mention its name. That's the first place I saw that everybody had goals. I was shocked. Cashiers have targets. How quickly they do the turnover of serving customers, how much they're able to process within 1 hour, within 3 hours, within a day, within a week, within a month in terms of transactions, amounts that they handle, foreign currencies, local currencies. And those who achieve those goals, and they are taught how to do it, and those who achieve those goals, as Martha you've said, then they reach a place where they're thinking, you know what? I've been in this branch. It is said to be the busiest branch of this company, and I've hacked it. So why don't you give me a promotion to be a supervisor? And people would be promoted. Then kidogo, they will be cash managers. Simply because there were goals that were set, that were aligned to the company strategy, and they were brought down, cascaded down to the entry level, if you could call it that way. And the training to achieve, the process to achieve training that goal was defined, and those who achieve it then were able to go up. And therefore, performance management then becomes a tool of motivation, it becomes a tool of encouragement, it becomes a tool of bringing out the cream of the best, and it becomes a process of getting those who are good enough to keep going up, and those who are not good enough then can ask themselves, am I in the right place? Am I doing the right thing? And if not, what should I be doing? So, ladies and gentlemen, our time is really gone. It's almost 45 minutes, 15 minutes to the hour, and we are drawing to a close for this discussion, which we will be continuing next week on performance management. And to our viewers and listeners, if you'd like to get in touch with us, at the bottom of the screen, you can see there our phone contacts. You can also get in touch with us via email. We are also live on LinkedIn. We are live on Facebook, and we are also live on what else? Facebook, LinkedIn, and you can also get in touch with us via our email address. Now, as we come to the end of this podcast, Zippy, within a few words, what can you tell us? Your last conclusion as you come to a close concerning performance management, goal setting.
Thank you, Anthony. I think what I would say is let's embrace the culture of performance management, because it's what will take our businesses to the next level. If we want to achieve our set objectives and targets, we must embrace performance management. We can't run away from it. And this is not meant for big companies. This is meant for small businesses, for what do you call it? People who run businesses individually as a person. You're running your own small business. That's how you're going to grow your business to a big organization, because you have a clear objective. You're setting goals and you're working towards achieving those goals.
Thank you. Thank you. Martha, what's your last word?
Okay, Tony, I can say that The organizations like the one you described that embraces performance management, they thrive. And I know that bank thrived a lot because then there was engagement and people learned what this performance management thing is. And out of that teaching, you would come up and learn what you need to do, and you own your goals and you thrive. So the most important thing, the first and foremost, and remember we keep talking about culture of the organization, you must have an enabling environment where people can be all they need to be. And because when you have such a culture, you will embrace performance management, you will embrace goal setting, you will have managers who they don't dharau their staff. If a staff comes and don't understand what they need to do, you will have a manager who is an enabling person to help another person grow using those goals. So it's really a culture, an environment thing. And as the CP has said, if you want your organization to grow, even if it's as an SME, even if it's an individual organization, just in fact, it is easy to put the performance management strategies when it's a small organization.
Yes.
Because now when
True.
it's big and that's when you are thinking, "Oh, we need to do this," then it's a bit more complex. But when it's in the beginning, ZP, it's your organization, and you think through things, you're able to put smart goals. I want to achieve this by when, this by when, this by when, and you're able to review back where you have missed the mark and where you can tick the dots. Have I achieved or have I not achieved? What else do I need to do to achieve? If you do that when it's a small organization, you'll find that system will grow like that. So as people come in and the organization is growing and people are adding, they are coming in and they are gelling into what they found being done. So it will not be stressful. And it will be one of the things, this is how we do things here. So even when you're orienting people, performance management is part of what you're orienting people about. This is how we do our performance here. So it's really good to encourage yourself that this performance management is not an animal. It's something that will help your organization achieve its long-term strategic plan. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Martha. That is an apt last word in this issue of performance management. As I say, you can always follow us via Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. You can get in touch with us via emails and telephone numbers that are scrolling at the bottom of your screen. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for taking time to join us here at Aurum Consultants. We're so glad that we could be able to begin the year with a bang, discussing issues that regards to strategy and goal setting and helping us get the year up and running, in a very positive way. So thank you for your time. We really appreciate you. I'm your host, Anthony Kuria. Join us next week, same time, same place, for more discussion on HR matters. God bless you. Have a great weekend.